all stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made of. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up. It's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time. None of you can fucking tell me to stop. My time. None of you can fucking tell me to stop. Turning the track up. I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you can fucking tell me to stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Logitech G Challenge USA Regional Qualifiers powered by Beyond Entertainment. My name is Frank Bowen and I'm joined again by Luke Crane. Luke, how are you doing, my man?
I am doing wonderfully well. Got to try and put a cap on your enthusiasm today, but yes, we are golden. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing great. I'm just trying to live up to your hype. I know how excited you get about all the racing and this and that. So I figured why not get a little bit excited about the intro. So let me talk a little bit about the format then. So this is week number 5 here today. So guys, if you don't know the format by now, well, you know what? Let me go over it again anyway. So today, racers are competing again in our regional qualifier events. They'll be trying to earn their spot in our regional final. And additionally, which is awesome, there's prize money on the line today as well. And for each one of these qualifiers, $250 for first place, $150 for second place, and $100 for third place. And then of these 40 finalists, only one PC racer and one PS4 racer will advance from the regional final. So the winners of those regional finals are also going to receive $1,000, a Logitech G product bundle worth about $800 in prizes, and a travel package to the Logitech G Challenge Global Final, where they will face off against the winners from Europe, Asia Pacific, and Latin America. So from that point on, we will then crown one winner that's going to be that G Challenge champion at the global final. And that winner's also going to earn their invitation to compete in the finals of the McLaren Shadow Project. So this is really a true path to pro experience for these drivers. I'm going to touch on the car real quick, and then I'm going to catch up with you here, Luke. So drivers today are going to be racing in that 2016 McLaren 650S GT3 on Sugo today. And correct me. Yeah. Help me out here.
Where are we racing? That was a rubbish Sugo.
Hold on, let me. Sugo! Is that better?
Yes!
All right. So yeah, and you might see some familiar faces in today's lobby if you've been following along with these qualifiers from the previous weeks. But Luke, talk to me about Sugo today.
Yeah, well, we're here at Sugo today. Again, it's one of my favorite circuits. Seems like every week is one of my favorite circuits, but this has a very unique style to it. So it's very twisty, a very tight circuit. It's very difficult to make overtakes, but there are two very long straights around this circuit. We've just ended sector number 1. We'll go on cockpit cam here with Source. And you can see that there's a downhill section here where slipstreaming is going to be huge because we come down in towards a hairpin here where you need to get on the brakes quite early, but there's an opportunity to slip one up the inside, and that was not intended to sound rude, and of course you can make overtakes, but then you get straight back into the final sector here where again you've got a double left-hander here, very difficult to make overtakes, and if you do make an overtake here you're going to both lose a hell of a lot of time, so opportunity for people behind to catch up, but then we get the very tough final corner here. You can take this flat out if you do indeed hit the apex perfectly, but there are big problems if you hit the grass, and actually, well, Source there nearly did a perfect demonstration. If you go out on the grass there, you are dead body.
Yeah, this is I thought Monza GP was exciting last qualifier, but the way you're describing this track, man, I'm excited to see what these drivers bring to the table today. So kind of while we're at it, while we're watching this time trial in effect here, let's take a look at today's drivers.
Absolutely. So the drivers we have got here today for you on PlayStation 4 is the Zebra 94 back once again. He is from the United States of America. He will be in the number 58 McLaren 650S. We've then got Mr. Min Vikings, who again is from the United States of America. He will be in the number 2. Our third driver then is Dub Racing 10, JW himself from the United States of America. He will be in the number 99. Source. We're on board with him right now. Again, one of the best names we've had this year so far. He is from the United States of America. He is in one of the 59 cars, quite a lot of 59s. Then we've got Spec V02, who is his first race here with us from Canada, and he did very, very well in the semi-final, so I'm expecting big things from him in today's final. Then we've got Guilherme, who is in from the United States of America as well. He's in the number 9 livery. He was supposed to race last time, but couldn't make it, and this is his first race with us. Then we've got Dogopoulos, who is from the United States of America, his second race with us in this Logitech G Challenge, yet to qualify. He is in one of the other 59 liveries. Then we've got driver 13, Joshua Freund. He is from the United States of America, and he will be repping the red, black, and silver livery. Next up then is one of the Airstrike brothers, Airstrike 1989. He is from the United States of America, and he is in the number 13. Smashing Apex then, who's been smashing everyone left, right, and centre. Very appropriate name there. He is from the United States of America, and he's looking to get yet another victory here in the Logitech G Challenge. Then we've got McToasty, who is also from the United States of America, and he is my dark horse today. I think we could expect to see some good things from him today, that is for sure. Then we've got Rockabilly Outlaw. He's from the United States of America in another number 59 livery. Airstrike won the second brother here, Tony. He is from the United States as well. He's in another number 9 livery there, the K-Pax livery. So the two Airstrike brothers are here racing together in the final. Then we've got Digid, who is Donald Federline. He is from the United States of America, and he's actually picked the correct livery this week, which is always a bonus. Next up then is the number 37 in the Sticks livery. It's X-Wolf 1369, already a qualifier, of course, and managed to get a podium last week. He is from the United States of America. So there's all of your drivers, Frank, and they're in a qualifying time trial right now. So basically what that means is they have 10 minutes to get like the quickest lap possible. So, you know, right now Source is provisionally on pole position of 1:19.063, and that means at the start of this race, when we go green, he will be at the front of the grid. So it does pay to get quick lap times here. You do not want to be anywhere near the middle of the pack. That is where incidents always tend to happen, and it can be quite a positive to be right at the back, but of course, if there's no incidents on turn number 1, Frank, that is, you know, you're always going to be stuck at the back. So this is a very important phase of the race system.
Yeah, and it's been interesting to see kind of over the weeks too how this time trial portion, it really seems like those gaps are kind of closing down. We see Smashing Apex, of course, operator in first now, but Sauce, you know, those times in between during this time trial kind of almost gives you a little preview of what you might expect kind of out on the track. So yeah, an important part, like you said. And yeah, I know we saw it like week 2. There was that big shakeup in the middle of the pack where an incident occurred. Driver 13 ended up with the car flipped upside down. So yeah, you definitely want to get out ahead to avoid any incidents like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You say that it's not, I don't think it's as important as people make out. There are two aspects in racing. Of course, racing side by side with a driver means you cannot take the optimum line around the circuit. So it means you've got to adapt to the situation. You can see here that we're on board with Airstrike 1. He's currently in P4. Smashing Apex, of course, is on pole position. But yeah, you could be really, really good at going around the circuit in one lane. So of course, being a time trialer or a qualifying specialist, getting onto pole position. We're not singling out Smashing Apex here. We know he's incredible at racing as well. But there are people that do struggle in the race. As soon as someone puts them under a little bit of pressure, of course, maybe have someone on the inside, around the outside, they've got to take a different line around the circuit. They mess up their braking zones as well. You know, when you're qualifying, it is you basically against the clock. It's a whole different commodity in terms of the racing aspect. So this is why you see sometimes drivers qualifying sort of between P1 to sort of P6, but they invariably finish near the back of the order in race terms because they only know one way around the track.
Yeah, and actually that's, you know, interesting you did bring up that point because we always talk about that experience that comes along with being out on the track with other cars and things like, practice lobbies and things like that. You might have a really great time individually, a really good time trial, but if you're new to racing with other competitors, you know, down on the racetrack, that can change a lot. You might not be used to adapting to those different lines or sort of driving around other cars. And, you know, we even saw that some in the earlier weeks, some of our newer drivers struggling, avoiding contact with certain other drivers in certain scenarios. So, while time trials, like you mentioned, are a good kind of indicator, it's certainly not the end-all, be-all for the results of the race that's coming up.
Well, absolutely not. But you can see here, like when they're doing a qualifying time trial, they have braking points. So a braking point is a part of the circuit. It could be anything. So, for instance, here the track just starts to darken where you see the tyres rubbered in, and that's going to be the braking point here for the drivers. But if you're in a slipstream with a car in front of you, so in a time trial, you're hitting the same braking point every single lap without fail. But when you're in behind another car slipstreaming, you go into the corner a little bit faster. So you need to get on the brakes a little bit earlier. Also, if you're right in behind another driver, you need to brake before they do. Otherwise, you can clean them out and take them out of the race. So again, everybody has to adapt to the situation. We've got 14 drivers here. So you could qualify in pole position, but you don't have to trust that the guys behind have indeed, they're able to adapt to the situation as well.
Right. And one thing we should, I guess, mention too is that if you're just tuning in now, kind of new to this whole experience, if you head on over to actualvision.com/GChallengeUSA, you can kind of learn more about these races, get involved yourself. But that ties into that practice and experience aspect where we have these community lobbies set up now, leading up to each qualifier, so you can kind of get out on the course earlier, learn some of these nuances, work with some other drivers and that sort of thing. So that's something that's been, I think, very beneficial to the community here as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a very key word you've used there, Frank. It is very much, although it is a competition, these, it's all against all. They've got a prize at the end of this where they can indeed represent McLaren's shadow, but they can also earn money here and prizes from Logitech. But it's a community feel. There are people, the top drivers here were looking at Smashing Apex again. He's someone who's posting videos to let the novices know where the best line is, where the best braking is, how to get on the power early. They are all helping each other, so it's a huge community feel. Again, it's such a new concept for the USA having the G Challenge out here on Project Cars 2. So yeah, we do indeed invite anybody and everybody to come and give it a go. There's only 3 more qualifiers left to get yourself in to the regional final. Well, here's the benchmark right now. Smashing Apex, or THR Operator, who has been so dominant, Frank, on both PlayStation 4 and PC.
Yeah, he's kind of established himself as the man to beat out there on the tracks now. Yeah, going cross-platform, winning money in both lanes, so to speak, because there is that $250 that goes to our first place finisher, regardless of if they've qualified or not previously. And of course, second place gets $150 and third place $100 as well. So that's kind of been the big contention spot as we've seen more and more of these drivers qualify throughout the weeks. But he's just been in that dominant first place position, scooping up all that money and kind of running away with it. So, we saw a bit of a battle last qualifier on PC for that 1 and 2 spot, but no one's been able to dethrone him yet.
No, absolutely not. But, this always throws up a surprise. Sugo is the race of surprises. In my own leagues that I run, we have done, we're in our 9th season now on PlayStation 4, but in the first ever season, we have 16 drivers in the championship over the course of 10 weeks. We got to week 10, which is the Sugo Showdown. That's what we market it as anyway. And the bottom 2 of the championship, they were relegated. They had to come first and second in that race. And bear in mind, they'd not got a good result all season. That's why they were the bottom 2. And they did just that. They came first and second in the race at Sugo. So Sugo always throws up surprises. The curbs are very close. You do not want to be getting on the power on the curbs. And also side-by-side action here provides incidents. So it's going to be a very tough one here. And someone could get ahead of Smashing Apex. That is where the window of opportunity does indeed open up here. But it is Smashing Apex that has taken pole position right now. Source then is in P2. X-Wolf in P3. We'll get confirmation of it right now. Let's get some hype in the chat then, ladies and gentlemen. Are you looking forward to the races today? We've got PlayStation 4 first, and then we have got the very same format on PC with 22 drivers. So all sorts of shenanigans are going to go down, but get your hype in the chat now. Would genuinely appreciate it. Smashing Apex then is on pole position. Source is in P2. X-Wolf then is in P3. Was in the money last time as well. Driver 13 then is in P4. Airstrike 1 and P5. Gilhelm is in P6. Dub Racing P7. Airstrike is the Airstrike brothers. They are genuinely brothers. Airstrike 1989 is in P8. Spec V02 is in P9. The Zebra is in P10. Rockabilly Outlaw P11. Mr. Min Vikings P12. McToasty P13. And then Didgid is in P14. Frank, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. You hyped up Sugo for me. I can't wait to see what this track brings out of some of our racers. It's been an absolute treat kind of following them throughout all these weeks. So yeah, I'm ready to see what's in store here for sure.
Oh, it's going to be incredible. I'm very much excited for this. Again, not many people posting much hype in the chat right now. I tell you what, if you can hear us right now, I want you to spam the number 8 in chat. Get some good luck numbers to the drivers. Should be a very interesting race indeed. We're on board with Source. Waiting for these guys to ready up. They have potentially 2 minutes to ready up here, so we could be waiting for the full 2 minutes. There's always one that needs to go and, I don't know, relieve themselves. Or
we'll call it a pre-game ritual. How about that? Yeah. Pre-race ritual. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people spamming the 8s in the chat now.
There we go. Wake them up.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Wake them up, Luke. Get these guys out here. Come on. They were being quiet the whole time. They thought they were going to be able to relax and just enjoy the... Nah, you got to get involved here, folks.
Good work, guys. Now, that is... There we go. Now, you guys are part of the Logitech G Challenge. It is round number 5. We're here at Sugo. It's qualifying round number 5. So they're all individual events. And then we've got the regional final, which will be the 9th event. So these guys are all trying to qualify for that. Top 2 from PlayStation 4 will indeed qualify for the regional final, but already we have had 8 drivers qualify. Some of them are in this race, so not necessarily the top 2 will go through, but the top 3 will be battling for the money. But here we go then, there's 3 red lights, we go green here. It's the Logitech G Qualifier number 5, and Source has got an absolute worldie of a start here at Sugo. I think that might be a jump start up towards turn number 1 then, and he's through nicely here. X-Wolf trying to go around the outside here of driver 13. Driver 13 holds a very tight apex. A couple of drivers there making a bit of a mistake further down the grid order here. Dub Racing then, well, we're going to go potentially 3 wide up towards turn number 3. A little bit of contact there in the background. And well, we've got a car there having a mild siege by the looks of things. Never good. And there's a little bit of rubbing there. Rubbing is racing, of course. And actually a side-by-side action here between Airstrike. Oh, and actually that was not good there by the Zebra. So the Zebra is out of this race then. So the Zebra has made a mistake there around the outside of the chicane. And well, they've all filtered in nicely here. But look at this. Smashing Apex has got the lead here. So Source has gone off track here. And that is some serious damage to the car, Frank. That looks like it's terminal.
Wow, that's an absolutely insane start here on Sugo. You know, Sauce looks so solid off the line, but yeah, unfortunate now dropping out, and a lot of players suffering damage. You weren't lying when you said that middle of the pack can be absolutely devastating, as we see the results here of that at the start of this race. But I mean, it's always smashing Apex to the front, but he's got some competition behind him today, it looks like.
Well, yeah, smashing Apex looks like he's had a little bit of help in the terms of Source has made a little bit of a mistake here. We're actually report here with Dub Racing. Let's go cockpit cam. Check it out to turn 1. You can see it's such a long run from the final corner. You need to get such a good exit out of the final corner to maximise your speed. And actually late on the brakes there by Spec V2, and actually runs out a little bit wide on the entrance towards turn number 1, and actually should be able to get the power nice and early for corner 2. Now he's starting to put pressure here on Airstrike. So up towards the chicane here, and I want to just keep on board here with Spec V02, because I want to show you exactly what's happened with Source. I've seen the aftermath, and I'm pretty sure I can nail exactly what's happened here. He had the lead. He was going to, of course, be nervous. Having someone like Smashing Apex who's won every single race he's done thus far in this Logitech G USA Challenge. So here we go, round this right-hander, and it's so easy to go to power a little bit too early. If you hit that curve there on the outside to your left, it will completely spin the car if you're on the power too early, if you're in too lower gear. The torque of the car indeed will spin the wheels out, and it looks like he's hit the rocks to the right-hand side, and Source's race is over before it really began, and he's actually out of the race now.
Yeah, that is unfortunate because, yeah, off that break, it looked like he was going to be the one to be in contention with Operator or Smashing Apex here on PS4. But, you know, that's something interesting we've seen throughout the weeks and weeks here is that, you know, players and drivers are starting to kind of get those little advantages. We saw it last week on PC. We're seeing it here on PS4. So, you know, there's plenty of qualifiers left. So we'll have to keep an eye on if anyone has what it takes to overtake THR Operator, but I mean, he just remains that dominant force week after week.
Yeah, for sure. Source is officially retired from this race then, so I don't think that's any contact with Smashing Apex. I think he's made a mistake all on his own here, but opens up the door for an opportunity here for X-Wolf. So now it's P2 here, so driver 13 is indeed in P3. Gilham then is the first of our non-qualifiers thus far. He's not quite made it into the regional final yet. It's actually his first race here. Actually, his connection doesn't look great here. That's not good to see. That is not good to see at all. Airstrike then is in P5, and already one of the Airstrikes has qualified here. So let me just check my notes on this and which Airstrike. So Airstrike 989, he's already qualified here, and his brother is in a qualifying position right now. So Gilham and Airstrike 1 are the two that are in the qualifying positions right now, Frank. But look in behind here. So, you know, Airstrike 1 has got that position, but he has got 4 cars in close proximity here. So we've got Toasty, who is in P9. In P8 then is Dub Racing, who's right up in the chuff pipe here of Spec V2. And Spec V2's, well, he can see his objective right in front of him here, but he's got to defend from Dub Racing in behind.
Yeah, and maybe we should touch on, our PS4 qualifiers already. So just so people tuning in just now have an idea of kind of the previous weeks, we've seen Sauce, who of course dropped out of the race today, qualified. Zebra, who also has previously qualified, has dropped out today. Driver 13, who I believe is still in it, has qualified. Dark King 12, who I think is absent from today's race, has qualified. We saw Little Regret qualify on PS4. Airstrike 1989 has qualified. X-Wolf 1369 has qualified, and LZR Force 1 has also qualified on PS4, but I believe he is missing from today's race as well. So there's plenty of opportunity
here. Oh, side-by-side action here, actually, and someone's being hung out to dry. That is Airstrike being hung out to dry by his brother. There's no love lost here. I think Airstrike 1989 may have a penalty, and actually, you can see that these guys are all creeping up on behind them here. But yeah, the two Airstrike brothers, oh, again, no love lost here. You think they'd do each other a favour, especially as one of them has already qualified. But no, he's really not. You can see that Airstrike 1 is actually behind Airstrike 1989. Just can't find that position. He's run a little bit wide there, maybe a potential slowdown. And all of a sudden here, they've got Spec V2 right in behind them here. So right now, Airstrike Airstrike 1 is actually ahead now. So Airstrike 1 has to go. Oh, Spec V2! Spec V2 was, well, in a position to qualify here, but he's now completely lost it down to P10, and that's all on his own there. He's caught the curb on the inside, and that's ultimately cost him his race. You see his flashing his lights there, just to let everyone know that he's not going quite at the speed that everyone else will be, as he does indeed rejoin, and now he's going to go down into P11. Rockabilly is up into P10, but Dub Racing then is in P7. So right now, Gilherm and Airstrike 1 are still the two that will qualify.
Yeah, that's interesting to see, the new faces come out and qualify, and I think that just kind of proves what a great opportunity the Logitech G Challenge, especially in the USA division, is that you really can find this kind of path to pro experience throughout these weeks where we're seeing new faces qualify over and over, and there's still plenty of time left. I think the finals run all the way to the end, beginning of October. So, if you have any interest, get signed up if you think you can compete. Because, yeah, once you're qualified, and then that spot opens up. But, of course, it is 1, 2, and 3 that are those money positions, which, even if you've qualified, I mean, that's the spot to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. You can already qualify, but you can keep signing up to race every single week and, ultimately qualify to earn that money. Smashing Apex is basically making a living from this competition at this point. He's winning both races every single week. So that's $500 a week for the American. X-Wolf in P2 right now, not able to really keep pace with Smashing Apex, and, well, no one really has. But again, this is $150 in his back pocket. He won $100 last week or 2 weeks ago as well. And driver 13 then, he's been quite unfortunate with some of the incidents. He's already qualified for our regional final. But yeah, he did it in the first week, but then he was on his roof the second week after that. Yeah, but he's in the money right now, so $100 will be going into his back pocket. Gilherm then is in P4. Airstrike 1 is in P5. Airstrike 1989. And now I think Airstrike 1 may be using his brother here to be the buffer. And, well, Gilherm there is, well, he's made a big mistake then out of the chicane. And now all of a sudden, it's Dub Racing in that qualifying position. So Airstrike 1 and Dub Racing are in that qualifying position. And McToasty, my dark horse for today, is one position behind potential qualification.
Yeah, if he's able to just stay consistent, really hold on, despite the madness that Sugo has been bringing thus far, he's definitely got a shot at qualifying here. So you might have, if you had put money on this, he's going to get it on top. There you go.
McToasty around the outside here. Can he get it done? He does. Dub Racing not able to respond here. And McToasty, the dark horse, as I said, he was really umming and ahhing about taking part in this competition. But today, he finds himself in a potential regional final spot. Just got to hold on here and weather the storm from behind. Dub Racing. Oh, and there's the mistake. Is he going to collect the wall here? He's going to have no damage. There we go. So he saved the car from damage. And with 11 minutes 40 seconds to go, it might be a bit too much of an ask for him to catch back up to the pack, but he's got to tuck it behind Lynn Vikings and potentially get back involved here. So right now, it is Airstrike 1 and Dub Racing. Those two are the ones that will be qualifying for our regional final.
Yeah, man, that's some intense stuff, and you got to feel for McToasty on that one. You had it called out. I don't want to blame it on you, but you know how that caster's curse thing works, right? When you were getting excited for our man McToasty, he went right off the track. I guess he's just fortunate he didn't find his way into that wall and at least still has a shot because, I mean, there's still a chance, right? He's in, I believe it's P9 right now, and he's just shooting to overtake P6. So still got about half of the race left. So really anything can happen here on Sugo.
Yeah, Sugo is just, we call it the Sugo Showdown. And actually, it looks like we've lost Gilherm there, so it looks like his connection did not hold up. Oh, there's a mistake here then by Airstrike 1 1989. And again, he's already qualified for our regional final, so he's going to act as a buffer here for his brother. Try and get his brother as many seconds as possible, but he keeps making mistakes here. And Dub Racing wants the security of being in front of this driver here. And you can see he's in that slipstream now, so he gets a really good exit out of this final corner. There's a long run uphill, and slipstream works in mysterious ways. When you go in a straight line or a level line, the slipstream is not so pronounced, but when you go uphill or downhill, it indeed is more pronounced. He's going to gain a lot more speed here up towards turn number 1. And is he going to get the move down around the outside? No, because Airstrike 1989 is going to hold position here. They go through too wide, and Airstrike does indeed hold on to that spot. They've lost it. Well, actually, Mr. Min Vikings now goes as favourite to potentially catch up to this group here and qualify. So if Airstrike does indeed keep holding up Dub Racing here, Mr. Min Vikings could come into play.
Yeah, and I think that's really one of the most compelling things about racing, and especially with this Logitech G Challenge, what we've seen Mr. Min Viking kind of week after week, and it comes down to consistency in a lot of cases. It's not something like, you come out and you just have one stellar day. It's about the week after week performance, and Mr. Min Viking hasn't qualified yet, but he's in the running today because he's kind of showed up week after week, got that experience, and now he's out here performing really strong and, not visibly making that many mistakes.
Well, that's the whole point of this competition. Of course, we are open to all abilities, so you may not even know you're good enough yet, but you need to come and give this a go. It's free to enter, and you've got the opportunity of winning some awesome prizes and indeed some prize money. But we're seeing some drivers that at the start of this competition you were looking at going, don't think they've really got the ability to indeed qualify for the regional finals. But then all of a sudden the consistency's coming, the experience levels increase. You're racing against quicker people every week, and you're almost racing against yourself. So like for instance here, I'm going to use Airstrike 1 as the example, or Airstrike 1989 as an example. Dub Racing would never have finished ahead of him. But this week, if he finished ahead of him, not only would he qualify, but he's in his own head, he's gained pace because he's finished against someone who's beaten him before. So you're always racing against yourself. And as my favourite saying is, you can't beat other people until you beat yourself. You need to beat yourself. And we go up the inside here. Ooh. And that sounded pretty rude as well. And there was a big door being closed there on Dub Racing. And actually, he was in that qualifying position, and now Mr. Min Vikings gets it. Frank, I don't think it was a good idea him putting himself in that position. He's compromised. He was in the qualifying spot right there. He just needed to hold behind Airstrike and be a bit more patient. There's no opportunity to make an overtake with this kind of car in that chicane.
Yeah, and maybe that's something too that kind of stands out in terms of experience with this. Within the Logitech G Challenge, especially the way the USA division is structured, it is a competition week after week. It's not just posting a time trial. And maybe he's just not used to the mental game, thinking about what risks I should and shouldn't be taking when you're in those kind of positions. So
yeah, for sure.
Maybe his driving, going a little bit off the rails after realizing the potential, but still a close race through that 4th through 6th kind of qualifying position.
Well, this is really now where they start to earn their money. McToasty then under a bit of pressure here from Dub Racing, but they've also got Spec V2. Very close indeed, and actually you can see all 4 cars here. One of these 4 will be qualifying for our regional final. Dub Racing is racing on tilt by the looks of things. He's off circuit once again. Spec V2 should get the position here, although Dub Racing round the outside. Is he going to try and hang out the inside now? But he's trying here, but Spec V2 does indeed get up into the position. And with 7 minutes to go here, Frank, battling is not the best idea. They need to be working together to try and close down Mr. Min Vikings. You can see Dub Racing's taken another poor entrance into that chicane, and like someone's just said in the chat there, it was a poor lunge really from him, and it's all on him that he's made a mistake. And fortunately, it's not cost Airstrike here. I'll tell you what the big story is. Actually, driver 13 then, as well, he's crashed all on his own here somewhere. That is a very that's a very expensive looking crash that's happened here. And now, as much as driver 13's already qualified, this is $100 he's just thrown out the window, because now Airstrike 1 is up into P3. So not only is he going to qualify for our regionals, he's going to get $100 that he can do whatever he wants. He can buy some champagne and celebrate as you would. But The second qualifier now would be Mr. Min Vikings, and actually he's eking out a nice 4-second lead on McToasty.
Yeah, and something also to keep in mind too is that even if Dub was to work his way back, this is kind of the first example we've seen in today's racing of that kind of red marker next to his name, which is that penalty. So even if he was to come back, he'd still be fighting against that extra second penalty that would come into play. So even more work now for him after, it just kind of snowballs here on Sugo. One minor mistake and then you find yourself in the bottom 3 and everyone else is fighting for those money positions now.
Well, it's the nature of the circuit as well. It's not just the positions on track. If you make one mistake around a corner, you set yourself up poorly for the next, 3 or 4 corners. So it's all about hitting the right line, hitting your brake markers. I'll tell you what, Mr. Min Vikings is not driving away here. Any one of these 4 could still potentially get this qualifying position. It is, it's super, super close. Now, we're making mistakes, and I think Spec's probably the quickest out of all of these. Dub Racing, with his erratic driving style after trying to make the move there on airstrike, got a penalty here as well. So what that means is he's extended the track and not slowed down sufficiently enough, so the game's decided to put a 1-second penalty. That will be added to his race time at the end of this race. Spec V2 is chasing down McToasty, and McToasty, there's Min Vikings. Min Vikings in that qualifying spot, the silver car up ahead. He's made a mistake, he's run wide, and now we're going to have a 3-way battle. The 5 minutes, this is a proper Sugo showdown right now, Frank. Any one of these 3 will qualify for our regional final.
Yeah, and that's super exciting to see. Sometimes, it's not always that first place that's the most exciting. It's all those little nuanced driving happening towards, sometimes the middle of the pack or back of the pack where a lot of the action happens. And I think that's what we're seeing here today with this little 3-way battle that's taking place.
Absolutely. It's anyone's call right now. You can cover these guys with a towel. They are that close. And just see the great comment there. Take that $100 and rub it in their brother's face, as required by sibling law. Absolutely. I tell you what, though, that is a big mistake there by Mr. Min Vikings. Up the inside is McToasty, and actually he's backed out there to let Spec V2 go through as well. So now we got it is still a 4-way fight because Mr. Min Vikings is still in behind. He's also got Dub Racing around the outside here. And, there's a big move here by Spec V2 as well. Spec V2's up into the qualifying spot here. McToasty going for the reverse whoop-de-wop. Not quite worked out. And again, we've had 2 changes of position. And Mr. Min Vikings, who was in that qualifying spot, now is lost 3 spots in the space of 2 corners.
Yeah, but I think your dark horse is kind of the story here as well. Someone who, it's like the underdog story that we love to tell, where someone who maybe didn't have that much confidence in themselves or is new to the racing scene, never been in a competition like this before, maybe doesn't have that experience, but they're able to come out here and perform, show us a bit of their personality on the track, what they're able to bring to the table, and really battle it out with some of the familiar faces we've seen week after week. So that's a story that you love to see, even though he might not qualify today, he might not be in the money, but hey, he's out there giving it all he got, and he's putting on a show for us.
Well, you see Smashing Apex, of course, we see that, the best of sim racing, if you like, there. And now we're seeing, basically whoever makes the least amount of mistakes out of this group is going to qualify. That is what's happened. That's the pressure of this situation. They get an opportunity to race for $1,000 at the end of this competition. So just to get in that qualifying spot is a huge accolade. And also, in terms of sim racing, a lot of these guys would never have raced in a competition before. So to reach a regional final, that's out of the whole of the USA and Canada. Like, no one can ever take that away from you. That's something you can have for the rest of time. Like, I reached for a company like Logitech, like one of the biggest companies in the world. Like, that's just a huge opportunity here. And I'll tell you what, Spec V2, once he's got into the lead of this little group here, he's done pretty damn well, although I've already cursed one driver here, so I better be a little bit careful with how I say these things.
Just 1 per race, I think you get. It's just, ruin one person's chances, and I think you can kind of talk freely from that point on.
Yeah, for sure. Let's hope so anyway. McToasty there making a little errors here and there. And this is where it gets very, very tough indeed. Now it's, you can see it's dark here. We started in the daytime, started at 2 p.m. Here in Japan. And now the track becomes like ice. The track temperature drops, the tyres are not so grippy anymore. And this is where mistakes happen. Of course, the curbs are the most vicious thing on this circuit. And, even with proper warm tyres, proper warm conditions, just getting on the accelerator a little bit too early on the curb, you will lose your car. And there we go.
Oh.
Spec V2's made a big error here, and McToasty is in the qualifying spot. So McToasty, all of a sudden here, has been gifted one, and now he runs wide. He's run wide. Where's Spec V2? Spec V2's not able to take advantage, and Mr. Min Vikings, who lost 3 spots on the previous lap, He's now back in control. Well, not control, but he's back in contention here to potentially get back involved.
Yeah, and time's dwindling down too, so if any action is going to happen, it's going to have to be now. But yeah, those opportunities definitely opening up as that track cools down, and you might not be ready to take those corners at the same speeds that you were earlier in the day. And yeah, Sugo keeps delivering, and we've seen some action here between all of these drivers, and it's going to go down to the wire for which one of these guys is going to qualify.
Absolutely. McToasty was the dark horse call from me earlier on. Guys, spam the 8s in the chat if you're enjoying this. Jesus Louises, this is brilliant. But McToasty's got a nice little gap here, but again, it's all about not making a mistake. They're 48 seconds behind, so actually, we potentially have... Where's Smashing Apex? We potentially have 2 more laps of this, actually. Might not be quite as cut and dry as we first thought here. Airstrike 1989 and trying to get into P4 in behind his brother, but Toasty then is in P6. But let's check out where Smashing Apex... yeah, around the final corner here. We're going to have 2 more laps remaining, I think. Actually, no, here starts the final lap. Yeah, so they're on their second to last lap here, these drivers. So Spec V2 trying to catch up to Toasty. So right now, we have got Airstrike 1, who will qualify as our regional qualifier. Smashing Apex will win $250. X-Wolf will win $150. Airstrike 1 will get $100 and qualify for the regional finals because the 2 above him have already qualified. Driver 13's already qualified here. He's in behind... I'm not too sure who that is. That's not Mr. Min Vikings, is it? It is. No, Mr. Min Vikings not. It's... No, who is it then? That must have been Mr. Min Vikings, so he's got a damaged vehicle now. So McToasty is the guy in control here. He's got 0.6 of a second on the driver behind him. So we're going to go aboard here with Spec V2 as they go around the final corner. And this is for the final qualifying position of today on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, and also those 1, 2, and 3 positions, like you mentioned, those money spots, but if any of you are just tuning in, kind of week after week, you can't qualify twice. So that's why there's so much action and so much focus on these other positions.
There's a mistake here by McToasty. Sorry, Frank, for cutting you off, but the gap was just over a second. And actually, there he goes. So he's run wide. He's got a penalty, and it is a 1-second penalty. So he now needs to extend by a second here. Otherwise, Spec V2 is going to get this qualifying spot here. This is a huge lap then in the esports career of... Well, McToasty and Spec V2. Can these two... Well, one of these two is going to qualify here. And they're actually closing up to Driver 13 at Airstrike. Smashing Apex does win today's race. Just give it a little bit of camera time. And he's slowed right down here. X-Wolf is finishing in... Oh, he's quite far behind here, isn't he? He's round the final corner. So X-Wolf will finish in second. Airstrike 1 is looking very likely to get the money. So that's the money sorted. Airstrike 1 will be our first qualifier today, but who's going to get it here between McToasty and Spec V2? You can see McToasty's in the slipstream here, which will indeed help him. He's right in behind driver 13 by the looks of things. You can see that, well, McToasty has got to get this move done as soon as possible. Hope that the guy Spec V2 gets held up behind, but they're both being held up right now, and I think this is going to cost McToasty. He not only needs to stay ahead here, he needs to get 1 second ahead, and Spec V2 wants to get it done on track. They're going side by side around the final corner, and Spec V2 is not only going to get it because of the penalty, but he's going to do it on track. Spec V2 is going to take the second qualifying position, and this has been nail-biting stuff, but he does. He gets P5 and the second qualifying spot. McToasty's going to have to live to fight another day, but Frank, Sugo has not disappointed.
Man, I thought, like, you hyped up Monza last time for that qualifier, and I was like, okay, you know, maybe Luke's just getting excited, maybe he's just talking up the course, and then you started talking even more about Sugo, and I was like, okay, maybe he's just, you know, he's warming up the crowd, right? But no, there was no BS in any of that. I don't think anyone could have predicted any of the things we saw out there today, and with those kind of results, I can only get even more amped up for the next race we have coming up on PC.
22 drivers around. Sugo is going to be incredible for our second race today. Let's get the official results then of this race. Of course, there may be some admin reports where we will indeed look at the end of this championship, so they need to be sent in as the rules stated. So, but right now, this is a provisional result. Smashing Apex has won the race. X-Wolf in P2. Airstrike 1 is in P3. His brother then is in P4. Spec V2, and well, along with Airstrike 1, has provisionally taking that qualifying position in P5. McToasty is so close, but not quite the cigar. Driver R1 Driver 13 was in 7th. 8th then for Mr. Min Vikings. Rockabilly Outlaw is in P9. Dub Racing P10. Did Gid then is our final finisher in P11. What a race, Frank. I think we need a little bit of a break.
Yeah, well, we do have another incredible race lined up for you guys. But yeah, we're going to take a quick break for this PS4 regional qualifier. But like you said, we're not done yet. We've got that second race coming up on PC, so stay tuned. Going into week 4 of the Logitech G Challenge USA division, we knew the Monza GP was going to bring the excitement for both our drivers and our viewers at home. And the battle between teammates Operator and Wildwin for the first and second place position did not disappoint. This is your Logitech G Challenge play of the race. But Wildwin and Operator, teammates. So
that's a mistake. That's a mistake through the first part of Ascari. I tell you what, I think we're going to have a move made into Parabolica here. That was a mistake by Operator. It was his entrance that was the problem there. His exit was pretty damn good, considering he made that mistake here. Operator, you can see he's gone defensive so early here, but now he's going to try and squeeze his teammate on the entrance into towards Parabolica. But I think the whoop-de-wop, the switchback is on here, and now in the slipstream, it's less than 2/10. This is as close as they've been around Parabolica, down in towards turn number 1. I think we're going to see a potential move again here, but if they go side by side again for a chicane, we've got Rez in 3rd spot, who will close the gap. Here we go then, Operator goes defensive once again. Wildwin, I think, may indeed go up to the lead here momentarily. Is he not quite? Operator on the brakes late here. Is he going to miss the apex? He's made the mistake here. Wildwin then is just got to pin the power, get on the power, and he has it again. Operator is not human.
All right, guys, so welcome back. We just saw one hell of a race on Sugo on PS4 here in the Logitech G Challenge. We're going to review the format real quick, and then we'll get to our second race on PC. So if anyone out there is just joining us, you're watching our regional qualifier for the USA division. So racers here are trying to qualify for our regional final. And coming up next on PC, we're going to be finding the next 3 racers that are going to be moving on to that. And also there's that cash on the line with the qualifiers you're watching right now. So first place is going to be winning $250, second place going to be winning $150, and third place taking home $100 as well. So once you're qualified for our regional final, well, what happens next? You'll be amongst our 40 top drivers in the USA division and just one PC racer and one PS4 racer. From that, we'll be battling it out for $1,000, a Logitech G product bundle worth $800 in prizes, and a travel package to the Logitech G Challenge Global Final. And again, like we mentioned, we'll be racing again on Sugo here on PC next. And again, you might see some more familiar faces. You saw Smashing Apex take it on PS4. He'll be competing here as THR operator. But Luke, I'll let you take it away with kind of our on-track introductions here.
Yeah, of course. Well, let's have a look at our drivers here today then, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 18 drivers out of the 22 that should be in the race here. So I don't know what's happened to 4 drivers, but we'll get the information up on screen for you then. So, first of all, the DMR from the United States of America will be in the number 6. That's his first race for us here today as well. KJ Duff then from the United States of America, his first race for us as well here today, the number 11. Bones then from Dallas, from the United States of America. He's in the number 9. We love Bones. We love the bones off of it. THR operator then, he is smashing Apex on PlayStation 4, so expecting big things from him. He's won every race he's done so far. He's earned a lot of money. We've then got THR Wildman, who came so close at Monza last time out, but it's just not quite good enough to beat his teammate. Can he do it today, though? We're on board with him right now. Then we've got Chunksters, who is from the United States of America, and that just reminds me of someone being sick, which is not good.
Oh,
yeah.
You went there.
Yeah. Mr. Salty then, Mr. Salty G. Sam Aroma, he is from the United States of America. We've then got Masama 002, a second race here with us from the United States of America in the number 37. Racing Maid Ruby. Unfortunately, Ruby is not able to race today. She was brilliant last time, but yeah, something's happened, so she can't race in the last hour. Next up then is Rez SJ Cow. His second race with us, and well, he was an absolute star last time out, so expected big things then from the United States of America representative. Pags 222, first race for here. Nick Paglia, or Paglia. He's from the United States of America. Lost Samurai 604 then is from Canada, another Canadian brother in the race. Let's see a lot more Canadians coming through, which is always good to see. THR Flip Mode and Andy Berg, he is from the United States of America. He's in the Vodafone number 2 livery. DJ T-Rec, he is from, he's called Jose Diaz, and he's from the United States of America in the number 58. Gareth Mongold then, he is, well, he's called Gareth Mongold, believe it or not. He is from the United States of America, and he is in the number 13. Unlucky for some, hopefully not for him. Then we've got CP Polar 268, Antonio Ruiz, he is from the United States of America. Next up then is Chonk Taxi, he is from Canada, another Canadian. Good old Chonk Taxi, good to see him back. Next up then is Freaky Naughty from Canada. What a name that is, good old Freaky Naughty. And he, again, he's in P4 right now, so awesome stuff. General Rimt, Carlos De Mayo, he is from Canada as well. A lot of Canadians today, which is great to see. Good to see a nice spread of our talent. Sav H25 then, he is in the United States of America. He is in the number 11. And then we've got Tweeby BB. He is from the United States of America, and that's going to be a fun name to say on repeat during this race, that's for sure. Then we've got Max A Power, Max Bowman. He is from the United States of America. Of course, we've seen him pretty much every round this season. He's been performing exceptionally well. You see, we've got so many drivers here, ladies and gentlemen. Racer 66, then Chris Sweeney. Had to miss last week, late, but he is able to race today, so good to see him back. So that's all of our drivers, and right now, of course, Mr. Operator is on pole, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, no surprises there, but I think the positive here is we're seeing a ton of new faces. So I can only assume that word is getting out about that Logitech G Challenge in the USA division, especially in Canada. Our friends to the north seem to be showing up in full force today, so we'll have to see what they're able to bring to the table.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see it right now. Rez is in P2 currently. I'm just going to get my list of qualified drivers up here. And Rez did qualify last time. Chomp Taxi then, he is yet to qualify, I believe. Yeah, Chomp Taxi. Oh, no, he's already qualified. The top three are already qualified here. So we've got Racer 66. Racer qualified as well. The first one that's not. So, oh, no, he's qualified as well. So top five have already qualified here. So Freak is the first one who's not already qualified here. So he is in the prime position to get himself through to the regional final. We've then got Lost Samurai, who's not qualified yet, in 7th. And we've got Chucksters, his first race of us here, so we've definitely not qualified. And you can see that this track, although it looks like they're being silly here by not having great track position here and racing each other in qualifying, unfortunately, it's a very tough circuit here to get space. It's very tight, very narrow.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of saw that at the beginning of that PS4 race where some of that destruction occurred early on, and I even think I saw a couple of our PC drivers sort of joking about that, like, let's not have a start like what we saw on PS4, but yeah, with Sugo, you never know, I guess, because who could have expected what happened last race on PS4? And man, I mean, it's going to be tough to predict what we see here on PC with so many new faces.
More cars, more carnage. Looks like we've dropped someone from the lobby, unfortunately, as well. Chomp Taxi then, up into P2. Now 0.6 of a second off of the pace here for Operator. We're going to see our first 17 today. They're in qualifying right now, which means that they all go around a track doing like a time trial effect kind of 10 minutes, basically. They get in that 10 minutes, they've got to do as many laps as they possibly can. The quickest lap out of all of their laps they do then goes into the order on your left-hand side of your screen, as you can see there, and that means where you start on the grid. So if you're the quickest, you start on P1, which is right at the front of the grid order, and if you're the slowest, you'll start, which today it looks like it's going to be P17. No one wants to be in P17. That is not the place to be. Just for everyone who's in the chat, we've got, 2,100 people watching right now. First of all, welcome. This is the Logitech G Challenge USA. This is qualifier number 5 of 8. We've also got a regional final. This is what they're all trying to qualify for. Every 2 weeks, there is $250 up for grabs for the winner, $150 up for grabs for the second spot, and $100 up for grabs for the third spot. Also, the top 3 on PC each week and the top 2 on PlayStation 4 qualify for our regional final, where they do indeed get to race for $1,000, a Logitech package, and they get the chance to race for potentially McLaren Shadow if they become the big dog in the Logitech G Challenge. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Hopefully you guys are all good. If you're from the United States of America or if you are indeed from Canada, come get yourself involved. You don't even know if you're good enough to be an esports driver until you give it a go. But if you've got any questions about this, hit me up on Twitter at ActualVision. I'll type in the chat so you guys can see how ActualVision is spelled. But we're trying to get as many new people involved as possible and grow this, what is Frank has described as a great community to be involved in. Someone who's new to sim racing, Frank, you know, there's an opportunity for everybody, right?
No, absolutely. And I think that's what's cool about it is that since it is a new division, you know, here in the USA, we're kind of, you're along for the ride with us, so to speak. So, you know, like you mentioned with the different websites you can reach out to us on, but the big thing, I think, is that community aspect, and that sort of lives in that Discord server that we have going on. So, you know, you'll see all the drivers out on the track here today are in that Discord, so you can, you know, maybe you're new to it and you want to get some experience or just ask somebody about it, maybe you need some help signing up, just head on over, join our Discord. You can get all the information there that you need. You can plan some races with some other drivers, get some practice in, get some tips and tricks. If you saw Smashing Apex on PS4, he's THR Operator here on PC. The top driver, you know, that we've seen so far, probably in the nation at this point from what we've seen, is in there as well, and he has no problem giving anyone advice. And I think that's one of the coolest things about that racing community is, it doesn't matter if you're brand new like Bones was. Very first time getting the game was a few days before our first qualifier. But THR operators in there giving him, tips and tricks and helping him out, getting his setup set up and everything like that. So it's a great community to be a part of.
Absolutely. There's a wide depth in talent. Of course, some people are not as quick as others, but there's an opportunity here for everybody. And, of course, Operator started somewhere. Why can't this be the chance for you guys to start? This is your first ever venture into esports. Again, who knows where you'll be in 12 months' time, 18 months' time, off of the back of something like this competition. But come get involved. Come show us how good you are. But right now, then, Operator is on a pole position here. Chonk Taxi is in P2, but he cannot do another lap time. He is in the pits currently. Rez then P3. Wildwin is in P4. VR, Racer 66, P5. Max A Power then is in P6. All 6 of those have already qualified for our regional final. They can still win the money. So if Operator was to win this race, he will get $250. Chonk Taxi will get $150. And, of course, Rez will get the $100 in P3. So they still battle for the money, but they cannot qualify twice for the regional final. So actually, we've just had Sarv, who, disconnected from the lobby and rejoined, and under pressure here, has put up into P4. He's mixing it with the big boys, and he is yet to qualify right now. So the first 3 is Sarv, Freak, and Tweeby BB. So those 3 are the 3 that, if it was to finish as it is in qualifying right now, they would all qualify for our regional final. But Frank, it's kind of the same old, apart from Sarv being up there.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of the cool thing is you see we have these established names over, the last 4 qualifiers. So we know what to expect from those top guys. But when you see someone come out for the first time and now they're in the middle of that pack, it's always exciting to see how they're either A, gonna perform under that pressure, or maybe prove that they're better than one of these drivers we've seen week after week who we've already been impressed with. So, I mean, you love to see that out of a new driver out here on the track. So, yeah, gonna have to keep an eye on him and see if he can hang with those big boys.
Yeah, but also it's a bit nerve-wracking for the drivers around him as well, because all of these are established drivers. They've already qualified for the regional final. But you've got to think the top 3 there, they're thinking, do you know what? I've raced against the 2 in front of me or the 1 in front of me, and then, but now they've got someone behind them that's an unknown. So, right. They may have thought beforehand, if Wildwin perhaps was in P4, the top 3 are like, well, I feel like I've got the pace on him. I've raced him a load of times before, but now they've got the unknown behind them. That's where it becomes 50p, 5p time. If you understand what that means, you understand what it means. Operator then, that's the end of qualifying. Operator is in P1. Chonk Taxi, P2. Rez is in P3. The first of our non-qualifiers thus far is Sarv. He is in P4. Wildwin P5. Racer is in P6. Max A Power P7. Second of our non-qualifiers and it is Freaky Naughty. Third and fourth of our non-qualifiers already is Tweeby BB and Lost Samurai. Then we go down in towards 11th, which is Flip Mode. Chunksters is in P12. CP Polar is in P13. KJ Duff 14th. Pags is in 15th. Bones is 16th. Mr. Salty G in 17th. And DJ T-Rec is in 18th position. And actually has a big spread then. 5 seconds slower than everybody else's DJ. And hopefully he's got it all sorted. He's understood the track a little bit here. And going into turn 1, there's no incident.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I know the PS4 start was a little bit dicey. We saw, people like Sauce who have been performing so well. He had that great start, was able to get ahead of smashing Apex, but then unfortunately due to collisions, he had to drop out. And same with Zebra, who we've seen week after week on PS4. But, the top of the pack here on PC, we know just from watching them drive that they're very respectful out on the track. We kind of know what to expect out of them. But yeah, it's always kind of a coin flip when you get some new drivers out there, how they're going to perform and kind of what to expect out of them.
Absolutely. We're going to start with Sarv here and see whether Sarv can make some inroads here. Of course, he's got the THR Wildwin in behind him, who's so close to getting the victory against his teammate Operator last time out at Monza, but didn't quite work out. But yeah, he's in a bit of a precarious position, P5. It's going to be very tough for him to get up to the lead here. But again, anything can happen to Sugo, and it invariably does. So yeah, very, very interesting stuff here. Again, these guys have got 58 seconds to ready up, and then we are ready to rock and roll. Unfortunately, it looks like we've already lost someone from the lobby. I guess they must have pressed the Return to Race Central button instead of wait for the game to load in. But here we go then. It is race time here. It's our second of 2 races. It is round number 5, or qualifier number 5 of the Logitech G Challenge USA. There's 3 red lights. We go green here at Sugo, and we are off. And Saab makes a very good start here. Up the inside, potentially, of, well, that's just a bad start then by Chonk Taxi. Saab trying to have a little nibble up the inside, and actually under pressure there from Wildwind. Wildwind's going to run wide here. Saab's going to manage to hold on to P4. And, well, everyone's got through pretty damn nicely here by the looks of things. Let's have a look in the background here. Yes, they have. So Mr. Salty G, of course, his first race here. Actually, it's a mistake there by KJ Duff. KJ Duff there has been given the cold shoulder by the looks of things, Mr. Salty G. And free wide into the chicane, never good. And actually, to be fair, they've not caused any trouble coming back on then. And that was Racer and Flip Mode. So those two have had to coming together here, and it was synchronized spinning.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, that was impressive that maybe they worked on that earlier up on those practice laps. They were kind of right in sync doing their pirouettes, if you will. So luckily, though, that little contact we did see didn't seem as catastrophic as the contact we saw at the start on PS4. So most of these drivers seem to have come out unscathed.
Yeah, that's the main thing. No damage is all good. I'll tell you what, there's a big mistake there by Saab, and there's an even bigger mistake by, looks of things, Max A Power. Wildwind back up into P5. And the worst place to have an accident or make a mistake is going onto, well, around this final corner onto the back straight. You lose so much momentum. He's lost 2 spots then, and now he's got, well, Tweeby BB and Freaky Naughty right in behind him. And I think they're going to make this meet and drink, to be fair, make a very easy opportunity for themselves. And actually, Freak's going to filter in behind and decide against it here, and maybe hope that the two in front have a bit of contact. Freak maybe looking for a little nibble up the inside. Not quite worked out here, and he's being very patient driver indeed. And well, I'll tell you what, big mistake there. There's the contact, and that's what he's waiting for. He's waiting for them to have it coming together, and there it's happened. Tweeby BB then has had it coming together here with Max A Power. So actually, no, Max A Power is the one who lost out. Yeah, no, Max A Power was the driver involved there. So Tweeby BB and Max A Power have had it come together, and yeah, it didn't look pretty, but it looks like someone's run out a little bit wide onto the grass, and that momentum has then shifted them left onto track, and the guy on the inside had nowhere to go. So for me, a racing incident, but I'm sure we'll get to look at that again later on. The top 3, though, separated by 2.4 seconds. More importantly, though, this is a battle for $150 and $100 respectively. Rez will want to get that extra $50 right now, and he is now within 0.4 of a second of the second spot, which is Chunk Taxi. Both already qualified here, so they can kind of give it their all and not really worry about the old qualifying situation. But money on the line is probably more important to them at this point. And you see there, it's all about getting your decent exit out of the final corner, and they are losing time because of the battle to, of course, Mr. Operator.
Yeah, but something I do want to point out about Rez here is that I believe the first time we saw him actually compete was that Qualifier 4 last time, and he's out here hanging with the best of them, really. So good stuff out of him, and perhaps he'll fight his way into the money here today, as long as he doesn't get too much heat from the back of that pack or make a mistake in this little battle they have going on for second and third place.
Yeah, but this is officially the second race for Chonk as well, because Chonk was supposed to race last week, but didn't, or 2 weeks ago, but didn't actually make it. So it's third one signed up. So they're both experience-wise on the same even kill here. We've just heard, Sport was taken. It's just said that to the old commentator's curse, it's my fault that they had a crash. Yeah, probably.
Hey, we go 2 for 2 today.
Every race happens. Yeah, every race something happens, and it's normally my fault. I'll take it on the chin. So there we go. But that moves Sav then into P5. Freaky Naughty is in a very good P6 right now. He would be the second of our qualifiers. And then we've got Lost Samurai, who's actually got a lot of pressure here from Chunkers. So these 4 battling for that position, and they're all in order on track. So Sav, Freaky Naughty, Lost Samurai, and Chunksters, Chunksters, those 4 are battling for the 3 qualifying spots.
Yeah, and just to kind of clarify for anyone who might be just tuning in and say, well, you only named a couple names on PS4. So on PS4, it's just 2 people from each race that qualify, but here on PC, we have 3 that are going to move on into that regional final. So that's kind of why we're throwing extra names in the mix, but for you guys tuning in at home, hey, that's just more excitement to kind of keep your eye on.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what it's all about here. Again, for people who don't understand why that's the case, on PlayStation 4 you can only hold a 16-man lobby, or 16-man and woman lobby, and on PC it can be up to 32, but it's 24 in our competition here. So yeah, that is why we can afford to have more people go through on PC towards our regional final. But look at this then, there's a little bit of a mistake there by Rez, although Rez has recovered nicely. Chonk Taxi made a mistake there. Rez trying to close the gap here. Not quite worked out, but look at this then. Sav is, well, we've seen that Wildwin, although he's in P4 right now, look at this, then round the outside through the double left-hander, and, well, Wildwin hangs out Sav to dry, and that's a very clever but a very risky move there. Could have pit maneuvered himself with that move, and you see that Sav is all over the rear of that 650S, the bright orange one, and he needs to get a good exit out of this final corner, get into that slipstream, and I think that Wildwin's actually done pretty well there. He's defended the position quite well.
Yeah, I mean, good stuff out of Weil, and all the THR guys are really kind of impressive across the board, and especially like last qualifier, the defense we saw out of Operator and their little team battle was top-notch, but it did get dicey for him at times. It was still kind of a joy to see finally someone able to contend Operator for that first place position, but today on Sugo, it seems the drivers have their work cut out for them, but that's let Operator kind of get out ahead of the pack and sit a little more comfortably today than he did last time.
Yeah, oh, it's a big mistake in the background. That's freaky naughty. So he's in the qualifying spot, and he's lost out here. He's got to get going. The tyres are going to be proper worn here. And now Races moves up in position. Who else is going to go through? Yeah, CP Polar and Max A Power. So right now, so Freak's down into 11th position. He's got CP Polar, he's got Chunkers, he's got Lost Samurai and Sav all ahead of him here. So Freak is just thrown away a potential qualifying position.
Yeah, these new drivers, right? It's kind of like that experience thing. Some of these drivers we haven't seen before. It's just we don't know what to expect. And like we saw earlier on PS4, we saw Dub taking a risk that he didn't really need to take, and that cost him his qualifying position as well.
That's a huge point to make there. Yeah, Dub Racing, he had it all in his hands. He's gone for a move that wasn't going to earn him any money. He was still going to finish only in P4 if he got the move done. And ultimately, it cost him his qualifying spot. So, yeah, you need to be really clever in these races. You need to lean on that experience. And again, someone of Freaky Naughty, he's got so much experience within Project Cars 2. But to go to this level, esports level, where money's on the line, competition prize is on the line, it just ups the ante a whole different iota. So, yeah, we're seeing that someone like Sav is dealing with that responsibility, or with that competition a little bit better here. I tell you what, though, look at this. Rez is still in behind Chonk Taxi, down the hill here. Then, if he can get the power nice and early, could put the pressure on. Actually, Chonk Taxi has defended that valiantly, and he's got a nice gap here to him. So he's not going to be overtaken this lap, that's for sure, or this part of the circuit. But meanwhile, while these two do battle, it does mean the Operator can drive away.
Yeah. He just sees that extra $50 bill hanging off of Chunk Taxi's spoiler there, and he's dead set on it.
There's the mistake then. So you can see there, he's run out a little bit wide there through second to last corner because he's hit the grass on the third from last corner on the exit. So that's going to cost him here, and he will have a load of rubbish on his tyres here, so the grip's not going to be absolutely perfect or optimum for Chonk Taxi. So Rez now has to take this opportunity. He's probably got half a lap before all of the mud and all of the rubbish does indeed run off of the tyres around this, and that is the perfect scenario here for Rez. He's got an opportunity to close that gap, although it looks like Chonk Taxi is dealing with it pretty well. And that is a fact in this game. If you do run into the mud on this game, it will indeed have an effect on your car for a while until it does indeed burn off. And also, you drag the mud on track, so the track conditions do change as the race does indeed go on.
Yeah, I think that's something really interesting too that maybe viewers new to this game might not realize while they're watching from home. It's that there's so many factors and variables, the condition of your car and the track itself, even the temperature outside as we see the transition from kind of day to night here. All of that plays a role in how your car handles out on the track. So, there's a lot more going on than just the driving you kind of see at that surface level.
Well, that's the difference between qualifying and the race here as well, is that the conditions stay exactly the same in qualifying, so there's no time progression. So the conditions are the same from the green light to the red light. But in the race, it's so quickly changing. Times 25 time progression. So they're going through in a 20-minute race about 8-hour cycles. It's about 8 hours they have to deal with in the space of 20 minutes. So every single lap, the grip levels change. It doesn't help when people are running off circuit and putting mud on circuit as well. So yeah, it's showing how they can adapt to the circumstances. So that's why it is so different from the qualifying phase that we've had here. Whereas a lot of you guys like to call it the time trials. The trials.
Yeah.
But yeah, qualifying is what we call it over here in Europe. But you can see here, Wildwin is still not giving up the spot. And actually, if anything, he's gapped Sav here. Let's check out where Freaky Naughty is. Now he's thrown it away here by the looks of things. Look at this though, flip mode coming through. That's that free wide. Oh, it is. Flip mode through the middle here. Can he get a move done late on the brakes? And he does get it done. Oh, that's a great move by flip mode. Nice bit of camera work there. We managed to catch hold of that. But flip mode, you never go through the middle of two drivers. It's too dangerous, but well, it's high risk, high reward. Flip mode now up into P10 here. And well, CP Polar not looking good up in front here, and actually Flip Mode's going to try and take full advantage of this. Flip Mode was involved in an incident on lap 1, but I tell you what, he is showing great commitment to this circuit and trying to give us a show here, Frank, and that's what we want to see from these drivers.
Absolutely. I mean, we mention it, kind of race after race, that consistency really is the king out on the track. If you can maintain your lines, like know what to expect going forward, that's kind of what we see results week after week. Even if you're a little more inexperienced, if you can just stay consistent, stay patient out there, you might eventually find your way, kind of up in the middle of the pack and getting a chance to contend for those qualifying positions. So gotta shout out to like CP Polar, who I believe is the first time we've seen at the Logitech G Challenge, but he's got some experience behind him there in Flip Mode, who we've seen week after week. So he's going to have to be really consistent if he wants to hold on to that position.
Yeah, but it's really difficult when you're in a mid-pack like this. Once you start getting into a fight with multiple cars, it's very difficult to get out of that situation. So potential race wins and whatnot are out of the equation. Max A Power's got damage to the car. Freaky Noise just completely cleaned up there. Got really close behind him and made the move pretty damn easily. But again, now he's in this pack here, it's going to be so difficult. Because even if you do get to the front of the pack, you don't have slipstream then, so you're going slightly slower through the straights, which gives the cars behind you the opportunity. Oh, wow, I'll tell you what, there is a potential move being made there. Tweeby BB then has gone through. Flip Mode's made a mistake through the chicane, and, CP Polar has made it up into P9, and Tweeby BB is up into P10. Let's check out what this means for the qualification right now. So, Operator, P1. Is only for money for him at this point. He's already qualified. Chalk Taxi already qualified. P2 it's just money for him as well. We've got Rez then P3 again, qualified, money. Will Wildwin is in P4, already qualified. He'd love to catch up to the front three, but it's not looking too likely. Sav then is all about qualifying for the regional final here. He's our first of the qualifiers. Lost Samurai would be another qualifier here as well, and Chunksters. So they are the three that are going to qualify right now. But you can see here, Racer, who's already qualified, is putting the pressure on here. What do you do as a driver, Frank? You've got someone who you know is already qualified behind you. Do you let them go and fight another day and just go, do you know what, I need to just get qualified? I'll tell you what, we've got the answer. He's fighting. He doesn't care. He's fighting for the position, and he's saying to racers, do you know what, I'm setting a marker down here. I'm not only going to qualify today, but when we get to the regional final, I have got your number.
I think that's, a really important point to be made, too, is that we touched on experience again. Maybe he finds himself in this position now and he wants that experience of, okay, how do I make this overtake? How do I defend this corner? That sometimes that experience can be more valuable than kind of taking it easy, even if it may mean losing a qualifying spot. Because again, this is qualifier 5 out of 8. So there's still time remaining. So he might just want to get that experience out there, kind of get a feel for what it's like to be battling with other drivers. And he might have the confidence in himself that says, hey, even if I don't qualify today, I want the experience and I'll qualify another time.
Yeah, absolutely. But Racers is going to be patient here, so I don't think you're seeing a full 100% of Racer. He doesn't need to really risk anything. He's not going to win any money today unless there's huge calamity down front. So he's going to be more patient here. But Chunksters, he's never been in this position before at this level, so he's got to give 100% here. Look at this, though. Racers is in that slipstream. Chunker's trying to break the slipstream here, using the pit lane a little bit there. You do not want to be going into that wall. That is Death City, that's for sure. Don't want to end up into the shadow realm. And then up the inside, then we go here for, Racers there. Does he get it done? He does. Chunks is going to try and hang around the outside. And I like this move because he's got the inside line here for the double left-hander up towards the chicane here. Racers runs wide, and he gets it done. That's fair play. That's incredible stuff there. Racers trusted his ability there and actually trusted that Chunksters would hold a nice tight line. And Chunksters, he fought valiantly. It's his first race here, and he would have gained, like you said, invaluable experience in that little exchange.
Yeah, and we've seen Racer 66, I think since, qualifier number 1, so we've seen consistently good stuff out of him. But yeah, it's like fun to see Chunksters as a new face come out, and I think the fact that we have 2 out of the 3 PC qualifying positions are new names that we haven't seen before kind of just gives testament to how much talent is kind of out there in the sim racing world that might be undiscovered. So I love the opportunity that we have as casters and commentators to see some of these up-and-coming names and see what they can prove out there on the track. And I think they're doing a fine job out there today.
Oh yeah, it's been superb. Sugo always throws up surprises, but you know, again, we're seeing some of the quicker drivers on PC proving why they're the quickest drivers. It's been pretty consistent from the top 3 here today. There's not been any huge incidents here. A few people talking about the Shadow Realm. It can't be confirmed, guys, whether the Shadow Realm is a thing, because people who've supposedly gone in there, we've never heard from them.
You can't
since.
get them back. No, they're gone.
Yeah, so we've got no.
We
no
can only
definitive
assume.
proof. Yeah, assumption is all we have on that subject. So yeah, speak to Steve Brown about it. He knows more about it than anybody else. But Sav then in that P5. He's still battling with Wildwin here. This is not over. P4 for sure is being battled for here. And there's far too many rhymes there as unintentional. I was just about to say, that's for sure. Again,
yeah, hey, we'll lay some music behind it, make a song.
Right. Wow, I'm the new Eminem. What a time to be alive. But can Sav get this spot done here? 4 minutes to go here, so potentially 3 laps. Definitely 3 laps, actually. So 16 seconds behind. And there's a mistake there by Wildwin, so you can see that he's got opted for the early apex wide exit, whereas Saab went for the late apex and the wide entrance and late apex. So he's trying to get the maximum speed on the exit. A little bit of a grass there, maybe in a breaker zone, but actually closes the gap up nicely.
Yeah, and as we see kind of time dwindling down here, maybe I'm wrong in assuming this, but I would expect to see a little more patient, maybe a little more timid driving out of some of these positions, because they don't want to be in that qualifying spot, get a little too aggressive or go a little too wide and kind of sacrifice that position. Whereas, you know, earlier in the race, things maybe are a little more aggressive, but we'll have to see what Sarv plans to do.
Oh, bloody hell, nearly went for it there. Wildwin is under all sorts of pressure. And when I mean by 50p, 5p time, this is in the dictionary right now. Wildwin is in the dictionary underneath 50p, 5p, because he's got Sarv right up his inside here. And now we've got the drunk cameraman, which is very renowned at Sugo here. Is there contact? Oh, I think he's creating contact with Wildwin, but he's letting him go. He's waiting here. So Sav has created contact, and unfortunately we didn't catch it with the cameraman being on the Bourbon today by what we've heard from
maybe the cameraman got hit too, I don't know.
Well, he's just renowned for liking a bit of sauce. He's just same every time down that
sauce,
hairpin.
You mean, right?
Yeah, it's a proper sauce. Sav then is still in P5, and you like to see that. I don't think any of these guys would have challenged for the podium anyway. They'd be sick to the stomach now if one of the top 3 made a big mistake. But yes, it looks like Sav has indeed given the position back. And actually, it's testament to their ability here that they've made a big mistake like that, but they're still in P4 and P5.
Yeah, so kind of no one's caught up to them from the middle towards the back of the pack. So yeah, they've kind of set themselves apart in a way. Of course, Operator set himself apart in a different way, being so far out ahead. But these guys battling back and forth. I wanted to mention kind of the community aspect, because I think that's a perfect example right there. The respect that other drivers have for each other while they're, you know, out on the track is just impeccable within the sim racing community, and I just think that's a great example of it. So if you're ever shy or unsure about getting involved, I can attest to the great community that's within like the Discord and the online presence, and you know, there's a real world example down on the track for you right there.
Yeah, for sure. Great bunch to work with. And actually, we've had not one incident sent in over the course of the first 4 qualifying rounds. So it looks like they're talking issues out. We've had a few incidents, don't get me wrong. You know, there's such a varying ability in drivers here, but you know, the respect levels have been absolutely top notch. Been a great bunch to work with, as I've said. But let's talk about the qualifying scenario here then. Operator already qualified. P1 money. Chunk Taxi money. Rez money. Already all qualified. Don't worry about them. Wildwin then. P4, qualified already, doesn't matter. Sav, he's our first official qualifier today if he stays in P5 right now. Racers already qualified. Then we've got Lost Samurai, who would be our second qualifier. So 3 people qualified today for our regional final, and Chunksters is going to be our third qualifier. He's currently in P8. But look at this then. Tweeby BB and Freaky Naughty have made their way up the pack here. So Freak was down in 14th last time we checked. He's making his way forward here. And let's check out the lap times here. They're actually going to start the final lap of today's race, and well, he is closing the gap, but it's not going to be enough here. Chunksters needs to make a massive error And I can only apologise, guys, if you keep hearing pauses in my voice. I've had some bad hiccups this whole stream.
Sugo's just too exciting. Sugo's just too
Yeah.
exciting. You never know what to expect. You're holding your breath too much. I blame the track, not you.
Yeah, it's all on Sugo's fault. But I'm really struggling here. Oh, well, I'll tell you what, Sav has got the... Yeah, he does. He's got the position here. So Sav up to P4. Wildman is in P5. Well, we've still got one more lap to go. Oh, Wildman on the grass. That's never good. He's off the power. Sav has been gifted a P4 here. Looks like Chunksters has made a pretty good... Yeah, he's had a very good lap here, in all fairness. And, yeah, doesn't want to be hitting curbs like that, though. He's got one more lap to hold on here. But we've now got a battle for P2. $50 difference in the positions here. You can see that Rez using a lot more curb there than Chunk Taxi. Now stuff's starting to get interesting. If you guys have enjoyed this stream, you've been by far the best audience so far of this championship. A lot of you have got involved in the chat. A lot of you have spammed the 8s. I want to see you spam the 8s right now. I want the whole chat to get involved. We're on the final lap here. Who is going to get this position? Is it going to be Chunk Taxi or is it going to be Rez here? You see a flash of the lights there by Rez, just trying to get into the mind of Chunk Taxi. Yeah. I don't know whether Chunk Taxi is going to be too worried about that. He does make a living as a taxi driver, clearly, by his name. So he's used to having people behind him, flashing their lights, not being happy with him just parking up, dropping people off outside hotels and stuff. But we're coming around the final corner here. It is going to be Operator who does pick up the victory. A lovely way to finish there with a smash into the wall. And I think you'll find that Chunk Taxi is going to hold on here and pick up the $150. So there, congratulations to Chunk Taxi. And we've then got Rez in P3. But our first regional qualifier unofficially is going to be Sav H25. Fantastic drive by him. He piled the pressure on Wildwin, and well, after a little bit of contact, although Sav did let him go back through, Wildwin did indeed crack there. So great to see them have that battle. I'll tell you what, the respect levels we've seen by Sav waiting for Wildwin is absolutely incredible. We do love to see it. Racer 66 then, already qualified, comes at home in 6th. But look at this then, Lost Samurai, first race here in the Logitech G Challenge, and he picks up the qualifying spot. Unofficially P2, Chunksters flashing the lights, he loves it. He is also going to make his way to our regional final. And again, Frank, Sugo has not disappointed.
Yeah, I think that might be also the first time in our qualifying history that we've seen two brand new faces qualify on their first time out on the track. Obviously besides week 1 where everyone was kind of a new face. So the talent pool is kind of increasing overall here as we see new players come in. So that's just awesome to see, and Sugo was an absolute pleasure today.
Yeah, it's been absolutely superb. It's Operator, of course. We'll go through the order here. Operator wins another race. Chunk Taxi will finish in 2nd and Rez in 3rd. Those guys are going to earn the money. But it's Sav, it is Lost Samurai, and it's Chunksters who will qualify through to the regional final.
Yeah, good stuff out of our PC racers, and good to see kind of more entrants, even though, unfortunately today, some of these accidents caused, people to have to dip out early and that sort of thing. It's good to see more and more people, kind of the word getting out, signing up and seeing new faces, with this Logitech G Challenge USA division. And again, we've still got 3 more qualifiers before all the rest of the exciting Logitech G Challenge stuff. So it'll be a fun ride for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We've still got 3 rounds to go. Go to actualvision.com to go and get signed up for this if you're in America or indeed Canada. If you've got any questions, follow me on Twitter at actualvision. More than happy to answer your questions. Also, yeah, just get involved, guys. There's, these opportunities do not come along very often in sim racing. I'm an advocate for drivers to be paid in sim racing. I think it's an absolute necessity that drivers are being paid for competition now. And we've got the opportunity here with the USAG Challenge. There is money on the line. So come get involved. We want to see your faces.
Absolutely. And just to let everyone know, you drop the website, actualvision.com/G Challenge USA. That's where you can find out how to register, find out about the events, and be sure to tune in or sign up and register if you want to compete. That's Sunday, August 25th is going to be our 6th online qualifier. So if you fancy yourself a racer, get out there and we'll see you down on the track perhaps. But one last thing we want to plug today, as Beyond Entertainment has their August giveaway going on. So if you guys are unfamiliar with that, what you can do is head on over to Team Beyond Net. We're doing our August giveaway there. We're giving away prizes like an Astro C40 TR controller, a Logitech G502 Lightspeed mouse, a Logitech G513 mechanical keyboard, a Logitech PowerPlay mousepad, and a ViewSonic XG2701 27-inch monitor. Say that 10 times fast.
Woo! I'm not going to say it 10 times fast, but that sounds delicious. What a prize that is.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested, head over to that Twitter. Again, that's at Team Beyond Net. And from myself and Luke, just want to say thank you for tuning into the stream today. Sugo did not disappoint, and we will see you again on Sunday, August 25th. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Sugo!